My reaction to Lil Gotit being on the record was super dope. It was huge because it was I had found out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It caught me off guard, and it was a beautiful thing. My name is jMyth. Well, I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm a Cali dude by heart. I lived most of my life in California, so I'm a SoCal dude in the IE. I heard about Producergrind a couple of years ago. I was always rocking with their interviews, and I was always interested in their perspective on producers and doing behind the beats and things of that nature. And I was always into that. I thought that was super cool, and I wanted to rock with Producergrind, and here I am today. I got into making beats by really being around my family. All of my family are musicians and songwriters. So I was always around music, and my brother is a big part of me becoming a producer and making beats because he used to buy hardware, old keyboards and sequencers, and I started off making beats on those. And I was, I'm a drummer by trade. I started playing drums before I started doing anything, and it just sort of evolved into me being the producer I am today. This placement came about actually from a competition. It was an acapella competition. The great Billyracxx had an acapella, and all the producers had a chance to come up with the best music and the best instrumental around that acapella and come up with the best song. And I entered, and I won. I would explain Billyracxx as one of the most eclectic and diverse artists of today. He can hit you from any angle, and I enjoy that personally because I feel that I can hit you from any angle as a producer. So to work with the artists of that caliber was really a match made in heaven for me. And now I'm about to get into how I produced Loaded by Billyracxx and Lil Gotit. All right, so we have the acapellas here, and we have the beat here. Let's see how it sounds. Intro. Now the effects that I have on the sample here, this right here. I have a filter. That's what it looks like. It's a preset, something minor. Threw a filter on that. Give it some movement. And Billy was already, he's real musical with his melodies, so it was really easy to formulate something around what he had going on vocally. I added the infamous myth art. I know some of y'all gonna probably try to steal that. Here's a little perk loop that I created just to give it sort of like an intro and give it something right before the drop, before I get crazy with the 808s. Now to make sure that they're hitting like that, the secret sauce is the bit crusher. That's all I'm gonna say. Here's the open hi-hats right here. The main clap as well. The 808, the open hi-hat, the hi-hats. I have 3 different hi-hats going on at the same time, so that's some more sauce for y'all to get some movement going in your track. Secret sauce of the 808 is the infamous, I'm gonna let y'all know, it's the infamous camera crusher. It's set up a certain way. Mess with the knobs. I always recommend going in and messing with the knobs to see what it does actually. You know what I mean? And use your ears. Everything else will come easily after that. Aggressive glides. Some distortion, right at the drop, so to give it some energy. Because Billy's energy is already up there, ready to go. And I wanted to make sure that the melody on the 808 was secondary to what Billy was already doing. So I wanted to make sure that they sort of harmonized and gave it a flavor. Now the second drop, a lot of people ask me what I'm actually doing with the 808 here. And I actually got the idea melodically from Billy's acapella. So I listened to him and what he was doing vocally right here. Now, if you listen to the 808 in that same section, so the 808 actually follows what he does vocally. So what am I saying? So you hear the 808 do the exact same thing. Here's what it sounds like soloed out. Just flowing with him and let him sort of lead the way, and I just sort of create around what he's doing vocally. Now right there, you know what I mean, it was a break, and I sort of used that opportunity and that space to sort of get creative without overdoing it and without clouding the record right here. Here's what those 808s sound like. Couple of extra aggressive rolls along with slides. So that's some more sauce that you can use. You can always combine certain techniques to come up with your own technique to give it some flavor. Now that's sort of like a tape stop effect that I like to do. You know, it's almost in every one of my tracks. And that's sort of self-explanatory, you know, convert it to audio. You know what I mean? And slow it down right before the drop. Another sauce that you should use, and I highly recommend, is sort of like a side chain effect with everything except for the 808 and the kick drum. So you wanna side chain everything else, the melodies and everything, so it has its own movement by itself, and you can have the 808 and the kick drum, so to speak, and so they can cut through in the mix. Right here, another melodic moment. Billy, you know what I'm saying, is doing his thing, and I just sort of formulated around it. I added a lead. Now I also use a synth bass sort of in this section to where it gives it a different kind of energy, but it still keeps the overall energy cohesive with the record. And I'm using one of my favorite leads as a bass on the low end. Gave it a little bit of distortion. It was some glide. And you can also use Bit Crusher on that as well, so you can sort of control where it is in the mix. Real secret sauce right there. If you don't know what Bit Crusher is in Logic, look it up. I highly recommend it. And that's how I produced Loaded with Billyracxx Lil Gotit. Y'all make sure y'all rock with it.